Hey trappers, No Name Trapper with you here today. Today's video is called the ZigZag Critter video. This could refer to rivers and creeks, can refer to ditches, fence lines, roads, and many other things like that. So let's get started. Alright guys, what I'm referring to is a lot of times, and this does just occur with water, like I said, it's the other examples. We tend to think these animals just run parallel to each side or cross them, and that's it. That's what we tend to think a lot of times as trappers. So let me show you some example of what we're missing, or what we're not thinking about all the time. Alright guys, here's an example of what I'm talking about. On this side over here, it's really shallow. There's a sandbar that reaches out almost to the middle, and then over there, easy crossing point for these animals. And that's what a lot of them are doing instead of going up the bank. A lot of the raccoons, otters, stuff like that, looking for food. So a lot of times they'll zig and zag across the water, and what they're following a lot of times is they're following their nose, the food source, or what's easiest to travel. And animals will do the same thing with fence lines and roads. You know, whatever they smell, whatever sticks out, they're not just running down one side the whole time in the water, or they're not just always running up the high bank. Alright guys, one thing I wanted to touch base on too with raccoon trapping along rivers. Sam Woods has a video on YouTube, a movie, Fast Track to Trapping Raccoon. And he talks about where most guys are setting pocket sets. He sets a high trail up on or a high bank set, like a little dirt hole for raccoons. And you know, not only with raccoons, but otter and mink and stuff like that will run those high banks as well. You know, sometimes they'll stay low, but sometimes they'll go high. And so sometimes with a pocket set, if you put it in this position while a pocket set's a deadly set, and while that high bank trail set's a good set, I get to thinking about like Dale Billingsley's fish stick set. I know several of the old timers run those kinds of sets. And the fish stick set, you think about it, where a pocket set's tucked into the bank, right? And if you've got an animal traveling that high bank, it's not going to see it, and it may not smell it if the wind's not carrying it right. Because a lot of times that you know, like a river or creek, there'll be a tunnel system for the wind. It'll just travel straight down it instead of covering up over the banks as much. So imagine you got a pocket set or a high bank set, you're in the wrong spot. You know, they went low, they went high, whatever. Well, like a fish stick set, that offers a visual like a visual reference for them. Hey, what's that? That's not supposed to be there. So you can use that as a visual attractant. Or if they're on the high bank, like they're traveling a lot of times, otter and all that stuff do that, even bobcats and so on. That smell of whatever you've got on that fish stick set being up out of the water a little bit, it's more likely to travel up over the edges. So that's something I wanted to talk about in this video, is maybe the quality set of the fish stick set, and how, while a pocket set and a high bank sets are great, maybe that's something that, you know, you need to factor in when it comes to this, as visual representation, and also scent travel. Okay, so let's just kind of keep that in mind too with this. Alright guys, here's another example. There's a little brush pile here, but don't mind that. We're looking at that fence line behind it. And while it looks thick now with vegetation, fall opening morning a couple years, I think it was 2-3 seasons ago, there were 3 coyotes on this side, 2 on the other side mid-morning. So, you know, these animals, they zig and zag back and forth. It's not always just a straight line run down each side. So that's another example to keep in mind. I spend more time watching these animals than I do trapping them, I swear. And guys, you know, a lot of times these fence lines, I know several guys what they'll do is they'll run like a big dirt hole or a good strong smelling bait or lure, and so they'll factor in that those coyotes are going to cross that fence line in different spots, so they'll set up snares plus their standard dirt hole sets and end up taking 3-4 coyotes at one spot that way. So that's another way to factor in the zigzag method. It's nothing new. This is just information I've noticed that I'm pointing out to you guys. Skunks will do it a lot in ditches and stuff like that too. So just a lot of information here just to think about. It crosses my mind quite a bit as well when trapping.